Everybody, Barry Byers, I'd like to call this meeting to order. We're going to jump right into this. I'd like to get a motion to accept our minutes from last month.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So this is for the Police Accountability Review Board votes, so the ACC members. I told you I'm new at this, so bear with me. Moving on, do we have any staff reports?
The only thing I'd like to report is that Valerie Jones is the name of the administrative specialist that will be starting actually tomorrow. So there will be a new face and liaison, much better looking face sitting in my seat, handling the communications, day-to-day duties of the Police Accountability Board and Administrative Charging Committee. And Valerie will be located along with the consultant at the Office of Emergency Services on Vickers Drive when that person is hired. That's it.
Okay. Moving on, old business. The complaint procedures. Has everybody gotten a chance to see the Kent County's form? Kent County Sheriff's form?
No.
Okay, I'll pass them out here. What's that? Here you go, Nancy. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
One more bit. So, going over their form, I've looked at a couple of different ones. Nancy gave me one for Queen Anne's County. I think your concern was the space, right? The
Right.
amount for the
Keeping
information.
everything together in one compiled thing.
Yeah.
Whereas this one doesn't have that.
So just using this as a working template under description of incident, where in parentheses it says attach additional sheets if necessary, I'd be fine with saying, write it on the backside of this form, right?
That would be fine.
Because they're probably not going to be given two of these forms to fill out. The only thing I would like to see added is probably more for us as a group, is who receives the complaint, whether it's the Police Accountability Review Board, an officer on the street, a dispatcher at a window, a clerk in the office. They need to document that they receive it and who they forward it to, date and time. Right?
So just a little box or something?
Yeah, well, I'd come maybe down to the bottom, just because, there is some, but this is more for I think what the sheriff's office puts in there, right? We should have several, because then it's going to get forwarded to, we're going to want to know who gets forwarded to, commander-wise or lieutenant, sergeant,
Right.
et cetera. Any comments about that? I mean, that's,
Well, my concern is how many people's gonna handle this before we get it?
well,
Like if a complaint comes in and they hand it to, the deputy on the street, who's he gonna give it to? I mean, when's it gonna come back to us after about 10,000 people use it?
we might not even see it.
Well, that's what I'm
Depending on
saying.
the complaint.
To me, it should go directly to the sheriff and not a secretary or anything else.
But, right,
Right.
but it's just that, it's whatever their policy is,
Right.
right? Like, so we're trying to work within the confines of the state.
Right, but to me, it's, too many people's going to handle it before it comes back to the proper people. That's my concern. And then you've got people out on the street talking about it before we even get it.
Well, this is the initial complaint, isn't it?
This is it, it's all it is.
So that's probably just gonna be an in-house
Well,
document.
not necessarily. It's how the complaint process gets started.
Yes. And that'll
But
be
it-
at the local police headquarters.
Yeah, but they can still make a complaint through the Police Accountability Board. Does that make
Correct.
sense?
But then that should be a separate form, perhaps.
I was looking to try to do one form for everybody, so
I
it's
understand
standard.
that universal form, but
One of the things, if you're thinking about getting it to the head of the agency, the sheriff or whatever, the sheriff's not always gonna be in or available. I mean, you know, he'll be away, so he might have to have a designee or two in the agency.
Right,
That
but I
can take
say-
that in his place.
I don't think it should go to a secretary or this one or that one. There should be a designated person in that office.
And there is. What it is for each agency, I don't know. But as far, you can go online and look at like what their policies and procedures are for handling complaints.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it pretty much, there's a line that follows. It doesn't go to a secretary and sit on, it's not, say it's not supposed to. But it's their policy.
Right.
And we're not really trying to change their policy as much as we are trying to make it easier for a citizen to make a complaint.
But I'm saying there's
Right.
just too much talk on the street sometimes if too many people handle it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Well, aren't these people sworn to confidentiality?
they should be.
Then that's what you hold them to.
You got it.
I mean, that's.
But that's on the department's end, right? That's not on
Right.
our
I
end.
mean, I'm just saying, I
Yep.
know that people in positions are sworn to confidentiality.
Yep,
And you have to hold them to it. If you talk, you walk.
yep.
so if it comes to the board, for example, then what happens? Get forward and
Yeah, we have a time frame where we have to get it to the appropriate agency.
Now, it's been a while since I had training, so I don't remember if they're required, or if the legislature rather says it can be either to the board or the police, rather than just strictly to the police, which would make more sense.
It can go straight to the police.
Well, it
Yeah.
would seem to me it'd make more sense if you had to go to the police first,
Yeah,
not directly to the board and then to the police.
True.
But, and you probably remember this better than I do, are they, the person making the complaint, do they have the option of going to the advisory board or the police?
they have that option.
Yeah, well, that's a mistake.
Well, but we're just trying to operate within
I understand that.
the way they set it up.
From an administrative standpoint, that's just,
Let's be real about some people, not every person.
Right.
Some folks will not really, I'll just use the term, be comfortable, I don't want to use the word trust, going directly to the police. It's out there. When I was on the road, I remember that. Or they would have a certain deputy or police officer that they relate to. They do that. So they may feel more comfortable going to him or whoever on the board here and make that complaint that way and just let the process take its place. But you have to account for that with some people, not everybody, but some.
Hey, Gary, I gave you a handout last time that looked like a flow chart, kind of multicolored. And it kind of explains that complaints, they want people to have the ability to go to the Police Accountability Board for purpose. If the board receives a complaint, they have 3 days to get it to the police department.
yeah, for the months,
Right, and then they decide how it goes. Because you could have a case where the Administrative Charging Committee would be the one to hear about any complaint before the Police Advisory Accountability Board would ever hear about it. If you use the Public Safety Article 3-102.
And then, the only other comment that I would like to add about this form, and that is, it's really not even on the form, but maybe Pete, you can help me with this. Chestertown PD still has on their website about the notarized complaint. And I don't know,
Yeah, no, I know you discussed it with the chief. I know he was out of the office, but I'll bring it up with him after this meeting. We'll make sure that it gets revised. The other thing to remember is that the chief of Rock Hall, the chief of Chestertown, and the sheriff were all in agreement to come up with a consolidated complaint form.
Right.
And it can be tailored. The Police Accountability Board has the ability to say this is the form that will be used in Kent County. And it will be available on the Police Accountability Board webpage, as well as the other 3 law enforcement agencies. But I'll definitely check back with Chief Dixon and make sure that they revise that.
Does anybody have any comments that anything they want to see changed, done differently on these forms?
Generic is going to be addressed.
You mean on the very top?
Yeah. It says Kent County.
Let's talk about that. Do we want to call it the Kent County complaint? Just call it Kent County, because that's where we're at. I mean, just take out the word sheriff, really. We're Kent County.
Yeah, you
Like
can,
against personnel, that would report, that would be fine, because it's going to be all of Kent County.
well, it's for law enforcement only.
Yeah.
But that's what I say.
Can't
you know.
complain about county roads on here.
Well, Kent County Law Enforcement Offices complain against personnel.
Yeah.
Everybody like that? Kent County Law Enforcement
Yeah.
complaint against personnel report?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then we'll have to change the very top about the address.
Well, Barry, if you're going to consolidate it, you could put all 4 addresses. You could have Accountability Board, Sheriff's Department, Rock Hall PD, and
All in
Chestertown
that-
PD, all
On
on
that
that.
heading.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So probably after box number 20, that's where I would like to see who was the complaint given to. Date and time.
18 doesn't take care of that.
No, that's received by, but nowhere does it say who, so I took in a complaint, who am I going to give it to? I would like to see a record of that,
Who it's going to.
yes. Yeah, that's just, because, we're not going to assign it to anybody if it came into us, but we're going to forward it, and we just want to make sure we keep track of.
So you want to use block 22, forwarded to?
Yeah, that's perfect.
And then it would be on block, well, it doesn't have a block. After date, it would be IAU case if applicable.
Okay, yep. And under date, between the forwarded to and the IA case number applicable, if applicable, date and time on that.
You said date and time?
And time, yeah, because we got a time, we got
3 days.
72 hours, yeah, to get it to whoever we forward it to.
Nancy, I think that would address some of your concern about who it comes to, where it goes. So if it came in to me and I'm sitting on the desk, it would be my name, the date and the time I received it, how I got it, and then who I gave it to, which would be,
I'm
say,
happy with
Sheriff
that.
Hicks.
Yeah, I'm happy with that, yeah,
Okay.
fine, as long as we know where it's going.
Correct. Barry, what I can do is, I'll contact the Sheriff's Department, utilize their form as a template. I'll set it up for everybody's review before anything's done with it.
I didn't see online, no, actually, I take that back, I did see the report online. Kent County the Sheriff's Office report is online. Chestertown wasn't online.
There are complaints against personnel?
Yeah, no. Just, it has their policy on it, tells you go in and get a form or see an officer, but it's not online, and that's where it says you have to get it notarized if it's.
No, yeah, I understand that. Once we're done, once the board has established this form,
Yep.
then the board can tell the sheriff and 2 chiefs, here it is, it needs to be on your webpage, and notarization, as you brought up, said, it's not needed.
We all are, is everybody good with the changes made?
Yeah.
Any other discussion on it?
If we're gonna make it universal, do we need to put law enforcement agents, we're gonna have, the complaint's gonna, where's it gonna say the complaint's against what law enforcement agency? If we're gonna make this universal?
I think you was
See what
talking
I'm
about
saying?
putting-
I could do that in square one.
Yeah.
It could be a checkoff,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
and then have all the contact information in there.
And instead of, and 2, have name of Kent County, Sheriff's Office, you're just gonna put Kent County Law Enforcement
Right.
Office. Yeah.
Correct.
But at some point, we have to know which agent, which. And I looked at one from Salisbury, they had a witness statement. Do we need a witness statement form?
Doing a separate report out there.
Well,
I don't know whether we need that or not.
But that's where.
We've got a description.
Under 17,
Right.
that's where
You put that
it would be that, but I'd also just say, continue on the back of the form.
Okay. That's good
And if there's a
enough.
problem, we call them in and talk to them, you know.
Okay. Then pass that to Pete for me. If you want to just look at that.
Okay, so we're good with the form?
No.
Okay, moving on. Ride-alongs. I need a list of people that would like to do ride-alongs.
Oh, I'll do one.
Yeah, pretty much. Shelley? Shelley? Okay. Okay, that makes it easy.
That's all of us. All of us.
So it looks like we're gonna have to try to coordinate this because it's all about the availability when the different agencies can take us out. We're looking at a 2-hour time block. Everybody good with that?
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, once we get it set up, it might just be, you notify the agencies via, the contact person via email, but I'll set that up with them, with the 3 departments. And, we'll just do it on your own time, because it's gonna be hard for one person to schedule anyways, free time. Moving on, nameplates, we all have them now. They look awesome. We talked about business cards last time. Anything on that, Pete?
Yeah, the county does not want business cards issued they don't do it for boards and commissions. Now, what I could ask is if there is a generic police accountability board member card, or just if it's not your calling card, it doesn't have much purpose.
I mean, I'm okay. I don't recall the discussion on why there was a need for it or a want for it. Anybody recall that?
I don't see a need for one.
Mr. Jones brought it up.
Don't see any need for it. We just hand it out to somebody? No, that's, we're asking for trouble there because everybody's gonna be running to you then.
I kind of agree with what the sheriff said. You know,
Yeah. You stop, oh, you're fine. Yeah.
I mean, not that anyone would do that.
Right.
But, I mean, I just think sometimes I've been stopped, believe it or not, I got stopped. Just a couple of.
Driving too slow?
No. From BWI, and the trooper stopped me, and he was saying, you know, it was a repair order. So I was talking, I said, look, I'm doing a trooper's wedding in a couple of days. I said, but I'm not gonna tell you who it is. See, I could have named a few troopers. He's probably gonna be at the wedding. It isn't this, but anyway. But I think it could just, if I were an officer, and you told me you were on the police accountability board, I'm saying.
Have a nice day, sir.
Yeah.
Or,
You looking for some special treatment? Is that what you're looking for?
or you get a bigger ticket,
Yeah, either way.
Or I'm gonna give you a ticket.
bigger ticket.
Yeah.
Johnny, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I guess I'm just old school. I know when I was
Nothing's wrong with that, by the way.
working as a state's attorney, we, you know, all of our investigators, all of our prosecutors, I mean, we all have business cards to give to witnesses or potential witnesses. Again, just to show that, you know, our office is legit. They can call and see. And also, as you said, there may be people that are reluctant to speak or may have a change of mind and may want to contact, you know, the person that they spoke to, particularly on the Police Accountability Board. I know when I was a prosecutor, you know, I passed them out, and reluctant witnesses did tend to, you know,
Well, I say,
call.
I
We're
think,
not gonna have, I'm sorry, Barry.
no,
Yeah.
So we're not gonna have that kind of interaction with people.
well, I say, if it becomes an issue down the road, we'll bring it up, we'll readdress it, you know, but I just don't see
But
it.
if you're an investigator and you're talking to a potential witness, certainly, but we're not gonna be doing that. I don't see that kind of circumstance would arise. Unless it's just, you know, if it's
Well,
a
like I say,
social-
if it,
Well, we could become potential witnesses, depending how far up it goes. We could be called in,
yeah.
I don't
yeah.
see
I say we'll address it if the time, if it comes back up, but for now, we'll just table that on the business card end of it. We talked about trial board judges. I did briefly speak with Paul Bowman. He is interested. I told him there was some things to work out. I couldn't remember any of the numbers we had discussed earlier. He was one. Did anybody have any contacts with any administrative judges or retired judges?
I'm under Pennsylvania.
There's a few Pennsylvania people down here. There might be a judge that moved down. New business. The only thing I really want to bring up under new business, and we can kind of have an open discussion about this, but the Police Accountability Board is only required to meet quarterly instead of monthly. And then the ACC, Administrative Charging Committee, if there's really nothing going on, I don't see, they don't have to meet monthly, correct? There's nothing that says they have, it's the Police Accountability Board.
Well, the only thing it says was the Police Accountability Board must meet quarterly with the law board.
Right. But it says nothing about the ACC.
I just wouldn't like to see your meetings go 6 months in between with no word.
Right.
Like we reestablished a discussion tempo. We've been very fortunate that nothing's happened so far.
Right.
Just kind of give us some breathing room, but we're still under the gun because if there's a complaint made today or tomorrow,
Yep.
we're still getting everything rolling.
Because my recommendation is we just meet both the ACC and Police Accountability Board quarterly until the need arises that we have to do something different.
That's your discussion.
What's everybody's thought on this?
I think that makes sense, and it'd be nice, I mean, the open meetings law is important, and I'm glad we're observing it, but it'd be nice to be able to, by email, anybody heard anything that's going on? We really can't do that. We should probably have some actual meeting on the record, even if it means, you know, everybody shows up once every 3 months until there's a problem. And then I think as long as it's kind of top-down communication saying to the PAB, we need to have a meeting, that's all fine. It's sort of top-down, PAB does its thing, ACC has to have a meeting. We can, you know, have notices go that way, but we still have to have our open meetings for the accountability board. The limited open meeting saying, we're open, we're closed, basically.
Right. You know, we're meeting, but we're closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree quarterly for both. Yeah, that makes sense.
I make a motion, we meet every 3 months.
I'll second it.
All those in favor on the Police Accountability Board, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, quarterly it is.
Now, can I bring up one issue? As you see, COVID is on the rise, and I'm not sure where it's going. I know I work across the bridge, so I wear my mask, because the mask mandates seem to be rolling out. But if that does become an issue, is there a way to have meetings via Zoom? I mean, that's what we did with the Ethics Commission. If there was a position where, well, actually, the town had closed their offices in their meeting.
Mr. Landon would know
Well,
that.
very well heard in that. If COVID does have the county offices closing down, they can be held virtual, the meetings can be held virtually, and would be done via Microsoft Teams. That's not an issue whatsoever, but that's not our call. The commissioners will be the one to say, we're done, go virtual. And that way, just as people right now can watch this streaming meeting, they can do the same with us all online.
Yes,
Go back.
Yep.
Quarterly, starting what month?
December. And in December, can we get the sheriff and the two chiefs at the meeting? And I know a end-of-year report is due as well, that I'll put together.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that you would have the sheriff, the two chiefs. You'll definitely have the administrative specialist. And it's my sincere hope that you have police accountability consultant all at the same, you would be able to meet them at the same time, and then 2024 start fresh.
And then they'll give us time to get this form, give us time to actually get this form finalized, printed out the way it's supposed to be. We'll send it out electronically to everybody before the next meeting, once we get it done. And then hopefully in December we can implement it, or at the next meeting. Anybody have anything good for the good of the order?
Barry, I'm going to hold this room monthly, so I don't lose it. I don't want to give it up. So that way, if in October, you're like, we have some stuff we need to talk about, whether the accountability board or the committee, you have a meeting space that can be live streamed or televised.
Okay. Anything for the good of the order?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, so our next meeting will be December 7th, right?
Yes. If,
December 7th?
let me look at this real quick.
Date limited?
Indeed. Same time, I assume.
I know I won't make that meeting up at the Mako conference.
It's December 6th.
I'm sorry, it's December
December
6th, I'm
6th.
sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
That's my wife's birthday. Getting a reason to get out of that.
We won't forget that.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yeah. Yeah, she made
Not
the
yet.
motion. and
We did, I'm sorry.
seconded it.
Was there-
I made the motion and he seconded.
Second, all those in favor? Meeting's adjourned. I think that comment about my wife's birthday was on the record, isn't it? Somebody get in trouble for that one.
You got it right.
We all need to
Myers, didn't
I
you?
do. Call me Bear. Yeah, I got it. Yep. And that's good to go now, right? 'Cause before-
It's
okay.
been good to go, I just couldn't remember it. And somebody was supposed to let you know.
Everybody hit the buttons, please.
Buttons.